My dear colleagues, I hope when you open this video you are in good health and in good spirits. So today is Friday, June the 19th. Yesterday was graduation day for the class of 2020, and what a wonderful, wonderful graduation that the high school staff and others put on for the graduating seniors. Nothing but positive comments across the board from parents, staff, students. I had the pleasure of helping out with the graduation yesterday. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So, having said that, a lot of you are, a good portion of you are going to be working this summer for summer school, and you'll be here next week to bid and also do dry runs. So I want to take this opportunity to again talk about your safety and the safety of students and what you're going to find here when you return to the workspace. I do want to say, like I did last time, that your health and safety and the health and safety of our students, again, it is our top priority. And, with that, we have put in place a lot of different strategies to mitigate the risks to you and others that you may find here in the workspace or, for that matter, on the bus. Now, having said that, really all these strategies are really meaningless if we don't have your total cooperation and compliance. So let's first talk about the changes that have occurred inside the transportation building. So when you walk around the transportation building, you're going to see a lot of different placards. These placards are there as reminders of what you should or should not be doing. These strategies we need to be mindful of in order for us to remain really healthy and safe. So you'll see this flyer talks about washing your hands thoroughly with soap and water, at least 20 seconds, avoid close contact with people who are sick. If you're sick, please stay home. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home as much as possible. If you're not needed, don't be going all over the place. If you're around people, keep at least 6 feet distance away from them, and wear a face covering. We're not requiring you to wear a medical grade face mask. We're simply asking you to wear a face covering. When you do get your packet for the summer school, we will provide you with a Shen, a unique face covering that was made specifically for Shen, which if you were watching the graduation, you would have seen that the graduating seniors and staff were wearing that. Pretty nice looking face covering. So when we talk about, for example, avoid close contact, we don't want handshaking, we don't want hugging, or any of that. Social distancing, again, where possible, you want to make sure you're socially distant. Otherwise, make sure you have a mask or a face covering on. If you're going to sneeze into your elbow, please, not into your hands, and then you go around touching other surfaces. And clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces, especially inside the school bus. Other placards you'll see, again, reminders to stay 6 feet apart. You will see these red X's on the floor. That's where we need you to stand when you're dealing with office staff. Now, I know we're all adults, but look, all of us need reminders, right? Because really it's easy for us to fall back into our normal routine and forget what and why of what we are going through. So, not an insult. Don't take this as an insult. These are reminders, and again, it's about your safety and, of course, our safety. The break room, we're moving things out, rearranging, because the break room cannot have more than 10 employees in it. So this will be monitored very closely. If I find more than 10 employees in there, somebody's going to be spoken to. Probably everybody that's in there, because I don't know who was in first and who was in last. Again, cooperation will keep everything copacetic, and we will not have to have any negative conversation about that. So here's my recommendation for summer school and for the 2020-2021 school year in the fall, right? Stay out of the break room. Do not hang around the break room. Do not hang around the hallways. As I said in my previous video, I want you to come in. You have to adjust your timing so that you have just enough time. Arrive at work, grab the keys, grab a DVIR, last minute instructions from dispatch, maybe go to the men's room or ladies' room, and go out to your bus. And then you reverse the process and leave the building. The less interaction we have, the healthier and safer we will be. I would highly, highly recommend, and I would highly, highly appreciate you doing that. You will also notice that we've put up hand sanitizing stations at key areas in the department. They are all available for your use. Where we did not have what you see on the right-hand side, a dispenser like that, we have actual pump bottles. You're more than welcome to use them. On a side note, you will see a change in the color palette of the walls and of the doors, because Bernie decided that these doors and walls here in the department needed a facelift. I was told that I have no say-so in the matter, so while these colors may remind me of being in the Caribbean when I was in the military, flown down there with the Navy. They have vibrant colors down there. That is not my choice, but again, if I had a choice, Bernie certainly did not give me one. So I always defer to Bernie for stuff like that anyway. Another change you're going to see is that your office colleagues from supervisors on will be wearing face coverings when they are in close proximity to you or you to them. The one thing we will expect is that you conduct business and leave immediately. Please, please, please do not engage in small talk with office colleagues so we can minimize the risks of COVID-19 to you and to your colleagues should either one of you may have COVID and not know it. As you know, there's a lot of people walking around who are what they refer to as asymptomatic. So we want to minimize that risk. Our department cleaner, Eric, has done a fantastic job of keeping the frequently touched surfaces in the transportation building disinfected and clean. Eric will continue this effort during his shift. However, when Eric is not present, we highly, highly encourage you to refrain from touching surfaces to the extent possible. We need to be, all of us, part of the solution and not part of the problem. Entry to the dispatch, as depicted by the picture on the left-hand side, is restricted. Read the sign on the door, please. Got phone numbers, who to talk, when to talk, that sort of thing. Don't just walk into the space. The picture on the right is the window to the left of dispatch. We will have a clipboard there for you to sign that clipboard if you need to meet with Rachel. Rachel will communicate with you the time and date when you could come into the routing office. Again, for your health and safety, we need to minimize contact between staff to the extent possible. So let's next talk about some specifics that we need to continue to reiterate to ensure for a safe and healthy environment for you and your colleagues and your students. So the question is, how can I protect myself, right? The potential source of exposure include having, when I say exposure, we're talking COVID-19, is having close contact with a bus passenger with COVID-19, or by contacting surfaces touched or handled by a person with COVID-19, or by you touching your mouth, nose, or eyes. We want to limit close contact with others by maintaining a distance of at least 6 feet again, when possible. We want our passengers to avoid sitting within 6 feet of you, the driver or attendant, or each other. Again, where possible. That is not going to be a possible scenario in each and every case. So please do not make that an expectation. Uh, Again, avoid touching surfaces that are often touched by others. Use gloves if required to touch surfaces contaminated by body fluids. I was listening to a doctor today who was on a webinar that was put on by our insurance carrier, Utica National, and a good doctor was saying he does not recommend that we wear gloves. He goes, because we will fall into some sort of a false positive feeling that we're protected. If you don't handle gloves correctly, you know, you may, with gloves on, you may touch an infected surface and thinking, okay, my hands are good to go, but then you'll end up touching your face covering and get that infected with from the gloves, and or your face and get yourself infected. When you put gloves on and you're dealing with vomit or anything like that, there's a certain way. There's a certain way of taking the gloves off and disposing of them to keep yourself free from germs or viruses. So, and the other thing is, you cannot spray or use hand sanitizers on gloves. That will quickly break them apart and make them unusable. So face covering definitely is the key to your protection. And again, practice routine cleaning and disinfection of those frequently touched surfaces, including the driver cockpit, the handrails, which we covered previously in another video. So to continue on with this question, again, proper hand hygiene is an important infection control measure. Using hand sanitizer that's alcohol based, that has 60% or more alcohol in it. Again, that's another preventive measure, right? Key items to clean hands in general include before, during, and after food prep, before eating food, after using the toilet, after blowing your nose, coughing, or sneezing. Additional times to clean hands on the job include before and after work shifts, and before and after breaks, if you take any breaks, and again, touching frequently touch surfaces such as the handrails. And also avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth. Let's talk about the students. We have to recognize, and I need you to think about this, right? From a transportation professional perspective, from a parent, grandparent perspective, what have you. Some children may not tolerate wearing face covering. So even if the district mandated that for students, you will have children who will not tolerate face covering. Some children have what they call tactile sensitivity and don't want anything touching their face. These are often the same students who don't want to use finger paint because it gets their fingers, quote, icky. It's just a feeling. Bus attendants and drivers need to assist, not only physically, but as communicators with their passengers in their care. We've talked about this a lot. A smile and understanding can go a long way in how we support our children on the bus. We need to be cognizant of the fact that physical social distance can also mean emotional distancing for students. So think about that. They're really experiencing a double whammy here, right? They've had the social distancing, so they have not been around their friends, and now that creates its own emotional distancing for kids. So we have to be cognizant of that and deal with it in the appropriate way, which is to have some understanding and some caring in how we deal with our children. Some students may already live with that isolated feeling daily, and the bus may be the one place where that inner loneliness is really alleviated, if but for that hour a day, let's say half hour in the morning, half hour in the afternoon while they're on the bus. So we need to be thoughtful about our approach with these children. We must be understanding. We can't be rigid in our enforcement of rules with them. We need to support their emotional well-being during these difficult times. They will have to readjust, right? They've been out of school for a long time. They will have to readjust. And you got to keep in mind, they are out of routine, getting up at a certain time, doing something, for a certain number of hours during the day, which is school. They're going to need time to adjust. We have to be patient at the bus stop, right? Because again, all these kids, be it children with special needs and or regular ed kids for that fact, right? So patience. We need patience. And don't scare kids about COVID-19 virus if you're in your interaction with them to explain to them why they need to wear the face mask. Some of us sometimes we do, get off on the kids a little bit in a heavy-handed way, and it scares these kids. So we don't want to do that. Children need to hear that you're going to keep them safe and that they will be okay on the bus. Compassion really goes a long way for you and for them in providing that safe transportation day in and day out. And let me just close by saying that remember, we continue to get updated guidance. We will share updates as they become available. We need you to remain flexible as changes occur, and we need your total cooperation. It's easy for us to fall back into the same old, same old. I don't know why they're doing this, and I don't know why and it's always day. Not going to get you nowhere, not going to get us anywhere. We need to work together, cooperation, and we need to remain flexible. I can unequivocally say that the Shen Transportation employees, who are my colleagues, are truly the best. It's because of your dedication, your understanding, cooperation, and genuine concern for each other and for the children that we will come through this crisis stronger than we were before. So I appreciate you. I appreciate all that you do. Looking forward to those of you working the summer coming back. It'll be a little bit on the strange side, but I'm confident we're going to get the mission accomplished and we're going to keep everyone safe and healthy. And that is because we are Shen Strong. Take care. Have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day, and we will be seeing you soon.